allowed that. Because you have to get an attorney to solve this lawsuit over your automobile accident because the insurance company wants to sue you because this woman said, oh, you broke her neck. You know, it's like, okay, well, you know, but you're not allowed to do that, you know? And they want to get in the middle of it. They always get, you know. No.
And again, with knowing the law, it's crucial to know the law, because you can back up your statement, you can back that statement up and defend yourself or present yourself in propria persona, in your flesh and blood man, by being able to present yourself, and you're afforded the right to due process. There's all kinds of lawful texts that say if you're denied that right, then all jurisdictions cease, meaning they have no jurisdiction. And that's ultimately the fact, is all these courts have no grant of law from a lawful Congress. See, the people give Congress the ability to operate. The Congress gives the grants to these courts to be able to operate. If it were in a lawful capacity, everyone would be hunky-dory. Yeah. But it's not. So you can go into court, as I've done many times, and start barking at these judges, saying, first off, where's the party of interest, one? And second off, under what jurisdiction is this court? They won't ever answer that question. So you can also make a statement that they'd have to refute, or they'd have to answer to. You know, sir, I'm aware that this court is operating under Admiralty Maritime Law, law of the sea. Sir, what's the jurisdiction? They'll say statutory law. Well, in the Constitution, it says the common law, the law of the land superior. These are all basic questions. It's just like having a conversation with somebody at a bar and trying to get to the point of something. Get rid of all the clothes and all of their buildings and all the hoopla and look at for what it is. It's a conversation amongst gentlemen. That's what law is. It's a conversation amongst gentlemen.
Okay, wait. You just defined law as a conversation between gentlemen.
Yes, and the courts, dealing in law is a conversation, well, of course, if there's a lady involved, conversation amongst rational, reasonable human beings.
This encompasses morality, civility.
Absolutely.
But you're a terrorist.
Yeah, to them, because we're a huge threat. That's why they're clamping down on us.
I mean, dude, look, in my opinion, and I want to look you guys in the eye when I say this, y'all are some of my favorite fucking people.
Love you, brother.
Straight up, dude.
That was a freedom farm. Freedom farm.
Y'all are some of my... I think y'all are badasses. I really do.
Love
You
too,
understand that the United States government is a juggernaut, right? But just as people by yourselves, you decide to stand up as a man and say, fuck that. I'm going to be free. Right. Let me tell you something. That takes an incredible amount of balls. We just talked about how John F. Kennedy was killed by these assholes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you guys... these are the freedom fighters. These are the badasses. These are the people that represent the strength and the undying resolve that our country's people have. They're not going to sit idly by and let this ruling class fuck them over. They're absolutely standing up as free men. I think you guys are just some of the baddest fucking people here, dude. I really do. I really do, man.
You're badass for being able to do this. You know?
Well, hey, no,
It all starts. And that's part of, you know, that growing community of being able, you know, to be able to justify the reason, the rationality behind it.
Yeah.
You know, bring that understanding to light instead of being media smashed to death about what's going on.
I mean, you guys have to realize two things, right? You're public enemy number one for the same reason how you burn their asses, because every time you open your mouth, you burn their asses. Of course you're their enemy.
And do it in different ways that everybody can do it too. You know, just simple ways carrying out your life, you know, with the choices that you make, with the purchases that you make.
Oh, I talk about that.
Gardening, let's get back into gardening. You know, Europe is huge, and they have huge communities. Everybody works in sustainable communities. This is nothing new. They want you to believe that, no, we got this. You know, they don't want you to be self-sustaining, which is the issue.
Yeah,
because
big time.
You're just an entity, man. You're just you're the government. You're there. We understand we need you. We need a little bit of, you know, some kind of representation. Yes, absolutely. But, you know, in the end, you don't want people to be so stupid to where they can't, you know how to take care of things on their own without needing
media and the schools. Look at the history of Rome. Look at the history of this country, also another empire. Many things happened when it went from a republic to what it went to after that. I'm not sure exactly.
Columbus did not discover America.
Right, You know, so there. My dog.
I hate Columbus Day. Columbus Day bites. He was an evil asshole.
Shit, cool.
Yeah.
You know?
He was a drunk, and he was a woman beater, and he helped Isabella get a bunch of heroin.
And killed all kinds of people.
Yeah,
and for discovering something that wasn't his to discover. You know, we're all here together. You know, this whole entire globe, we are people of the earth. We are not, you know, people to them. You know, it's
one world family, not new world order.
Correct.
I want to get on. Yeah, I want to get on something here. If your name is listed in capital letters, now to folks that are out there listening that you know, they go to work and they bust their ass and they never really thought about, you know, what the hell their name looked like, you know, whether it's in caps or not, you know, and we're taught to capitalize the first letter of our name. But when we look at our social security card and when we look at our birth certificate and our driver's license and all of this, the sovereigns found out that there was something significant about the capitalization, and I want you to explain that for a second, what that means.
Basically, you've been incorporated.
So they own you. You're now being owned.
You're now being owned. You are an indentured servant to them at that point in time.
Okay, you know,
and that shouldn't be the case. I mean, they said, well, you got to have names. You got to be able to recognize yourself and be able to pick you out from the crowd. You know, you can't have a million Chris's just running out there saying, I'm just Chris. You know, no last name, no nothing. Okay, fine, I'll be Chris 123, and then this guy's going to be Chris 124.
Right,
you know,
right.
It's they would like you to believe that.
I got to point something out real quick.
Go ahead.
So when you're a flesh and blood man, if you're going to do commerce in this country, your corporate trade name, your straw man, will exist.
And that's your name in capital letters. That's your straw man.
But what they do is they manipulate it to make that as if that's who we really are, subject to the 14th Amendment to the federal corporation. So it does exist in reality. If you're going to do business, incorporate, you're going to use that name.
Okay.
So that's your corporate straw man you can use, but you are the executor over that. They make it so that is the executor over you. Again, diametrical opposite.
They put a DBA on you, basically. You know, this is you doing business as. We're going to say you are doing business as.
Hence,
for us.
Hence why when you're traveling in your four-wheeled carriage, they say, "Sir, are you driving or you're driving recklessly?" Say or whatever. Say, "Sir, I'm not driving. I'm simply operating a vehicle." Well, no, you don't want to say that. Apologize. Simply traveling freely. Simply traveling freely. Driving is a commercial term. Those who drive semi-trucks, those who drive cabs, that is a drive, and that is when a license is needed. That's it.
So this is. We
should be able to drive no different. Hey, are they gonna keep the eagles from flying over certain areas? They say, we gotta tag you, eagle. You know, you're not allowed to fly around anymore.
I sent the
it's like,
birds
wait a minute,
memo.
I'm part of nature too here.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it all boils down to. You know, you and I talked about it earlier. You know, we both have Indian blood, nature blood. So, you know, that belief in Indian beliefs is very strong. You know, is we are a spirit of the earth. We are part of this. No more different than you or the birds or the dogs or anybody else.
Well, hence the separation between republic and their corporate fictions, because corporation only exists on paper. Right. The republic is everything we're sitting on, smoking and listening to and looking through.
Okay, so we had a republic, and I want to reiterate this because I think it's important. We had a republic. The country becomes incorporated, but it wasn't enough to just incorporate the name, the United States of America, to incorporate the country. They also made the people within the boundaries of this country property. And now what the sovereigns found out was that through wording and through what a lot of people would consider semantics.
Resident. Look up the breakdown of the word resident. Res means thing in relation to commerce.
Huh.
When I look up attorney, it means to change or to flip.
Well, the word attorney, when you break it down to attorn, the gentleman who attorns, the attorney transfers property from one individual to another. That property is the bond that is put on our future labor that they're using for their benefit, that they're supposed to be trustees of for our benefit. Right. So in trust law, you can't do that.
So you
can't do that.
They've created
a trust.
A trust, yeah. They've made it to where when people reference the American people as sheeple, I mean, we really they look at us as stock.
Welcome to the American plantation. Slaves unite.
There it is, dude. Yeah. One of our greatest allies in the activist movement is called the Big Plantation. Yeah, dude. They're monsters too, dude. Out of the state of Pennsylvania, liberty-minded state. When you hear the term sovereign, typically people do liken it to something that is bad, but here's the irony. The government, the sitting government, took words, changed definitions by a commercial law, and then had it made applicable to all of us.
Well, yes, for the most part.
Without us even knowing.
Well, they didn't change it through commercial law. An unlawful, I don't even want to use the word government, an unlawful quasi-governing authoritative entity took it on their behalf, not the people's, to do what they've done in manipulating the way they've manipulated. So ever since the southern states seceded from Congress in 1861, March 24th or something like that, the government had no business other than to set a date to reconvene. That's it. Instead, they took over and said, we're going to take over from here. Hence the whole point of the Civil War. A coup. A coup by the foreign bankers. A coup, changing it from a republic to a martial rule. A country under martial rule. The Lieber Code. For those listening, you can look up Lieber. Francis Lieber was a gentleman during that time frame who came up with regulations that would govern an occupied country under martial law. This was General Orders number 100. It was the first executive order ever put into effect by President Lincoln. Now, once the Civil War was over, President Lincoln tried to restore the Republic, turning it back, and they wouldn't have that. Hence Kennedy.
Well, hence he got a bullet in the head, Lincoln.
Absolutely.
In a theater.
He died for a righteous cause.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, man, you guys open your mouths and all you do is burn the asses of your opposition. It's fucking amazing.
Logic and maturity will prevail.
It's unbelievable.
It's not, it's not saying, it's saying do the right thing, please.
Sorry, bro.
There's so many people that would like to have the right thing done. They don't know how to go about saying it or proving it. They don't want to vote for it anymore. They don't know how to vote for it. I every voting season, I'm tired of trying to choose from the lesser of the two evils at this point in time, and so is everybody else. So and a lot of people, sovereigns, because we do the research, because we've had that veil of understanding, being able to lift it off our eyes, and we go, ooh, we're able to define not just ourselves, but the explanation of what's going on a lot better than a lot of other people can.
Here's a fact in law.
That's true. The sovereigns, in my experience, have always been able to substantiate their claims.
And that's law.
Always.
You can't make a statement without being able to defend it.
Yes.
You can't just go willy-nilly. That's why in court, or even with any authoritative figure, you could say, defend that statement in facts and law.
Absolutely.
And then you can go
And if
deeper.
they can't,
then it's done.
Then it's
Any situation you're in is
broken
done.
contract, basically.
And also for anybody who's ever gets a case dismissed out of court, preferably on your own, always get it in writing and certified that second, that day, and also get it dismissed with prejudice. So when you go to press charges, the system already recognizes that the judge agrees with your being victimized.
this makes so much sense. To label you crazy so that people won't listen to you, because when I listen to you speak and I hear what you have to say, you guys are dangerous. You guys are dangerous as fuck to these corrupt criminals.
Information is the most important commodity I know of.
Yeah. And it's the Black's Law Dictionary that you guys pull the legal definitions from, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay, Black's Law Dictionary, Black's Law Dictionary, Black's Law Dictionary.
The video you had on earlier was referencing the 9th edition.
Yeah.
Oh, 9th edition then, Black's Law Dictionary.
And usually any text of any kind, you want to go back into time further and further because it's been manipulated throughout time.
Yeah.
So the old Constitution, older dictionary. So you got Black's Law of the 9th. We would prefer to have Black's Law of the 1st.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a hold of. These books are expensive.
Yeah.
But you can take a Black's Law Dictionary into court, and you could say, "Sir, you just said that word, and that doesn't match up with what was written during the Constitution. These are the same words."
Yeah, just because definition was changed, by them, by the damn criminals, doesn't mean that we're going to stand for it.
And also one more thing, sorry,
Please,
I'm not trying to dominate. Anything that was created after 1861 is created under an unlawful capacity.
After 1861.
Yes.
And it is 2015.
Right, 2015. So if they come up to you and say, well, this is a code, or you have to have a permit to protest here, all you got to simply say is, provide me a document that states you can lawfully operate in the capacity you say you are. I want that document.
Okay, please say that again. Please say that again.
So you could say to any authoritative figure, IRS, cop, anybody, judge, provide me a lawful document, a lawful delegation of authority, stating that you have the position that you claim to have. Cop, judge, anybody. None of them have it. The only ones to do in the entire country is the sheriffs and deputies, because their whole job is to upstand the Constitution, uphold the Constitution, which they're not doing. But they're the only one. They're our last refuge. We got militias. We need to contact the constitutional sheriffs. We need everybody,
which is happening right now.
And notice that he's bringing up sheriff, because one of the other things that a lot of people, sovereigns are cop haters. You know, it's like, no, sheriff. Sheriff is supposed to be the law. Then they've been pushed under.
People are the law, but I understand.
Yeah, people are the law. But, you know, we need somebody to help out with certain things at some point in time, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, carry it out properly and lawfully. That's what we want.
Bottom line.
See, the points of contention that they have against you don't even make any fucking sense when you guys talk, dude.
No.
They want to label you as crazy when you have substantiated your claim in their own words.
And we're not the only ones that talk like this. We know lots of
no, you're not.
And that's what the most amazing part is. You know, once again, everybody's so glued to sitting down going, blink.
Yeah.
What are they going to feed us today?
Well, also for those who have been manipulated and they're interested in the things that are being said by sovereigns or anybody logical, they can't get past the manipulation. I was talking to this guy at this one store, and we were talking about this for about a half hour. He's known me 3 or 4 visits before that, and I'm always talking on the subject. So he was interested. He asked some questions, and I was saying logical things, and he couldn't get past it. And I was like, okay, let's break it down as simple as possible. If I kick you, do I owe you remedy, or do I owe the courts downtown $45 and you're still a victim?
Right.
Yeah.
And you can say that to a cop too.
Everyone can relate to that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Everyone can relate to that, because that's only following the lines of common sense and logic.
Right.
You know, what in the hell business does the state have? Let's say you beat the shit out of me, right? You just beat me up, right?
Don't do it.
And that's
I
between
you're sovereign. You're a nut.
I want to. Let's talk about this first.
Yeah.
Before I kick your ass, I gotta know something.
Yeah, we'll discuss it first.
Right.
Let's say you kick my ass, and nobody hears it. Like if a tree falls in the woods, you know, does it make a sound? This is a problem between you and I, and we're out, not in a public venue. You know, we're in our own fucking space, right? And you beat my ass, and like the next day, we're like, fuck it, let's go get a beer.
Right.
The state would put you in jail.
Correct.
And probably me too.
Correct.
You know,
That's what they did with our friend. Essentially, they flipped that just like that.
Yeah, and you know, it used to be in this country, man, we would go behind the woodshed.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And we just
Always
hash
take
it
it
out.
outside.
Like gentlemen.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Just hash it out as men, you know? Just do your thing. Now, the state is our babysitter. The state says what's good for us. We had also referenced food. If the supermarkets closed today, we could go into a third world country within a week.
Oh, look at what people do when they hear there's going to be a snowstorm.
Oh, and they stock
my
up.
God.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, hang on, people. It's only going to be for a day or two. We're going to get through this. We can all get through this together. You know, it's
the back of the truck's filled with generators.
Right, you know.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I need 10 snow shovels. God help me if one breaks, you know. I only got 2 hands, and my son, well, he's not big enough to do anything about it anyway. So, you know, it's like,
Right, yeah.
And they enjoy that because that brings a lot of money into their
that
pocket.
keeps commerce going. Absolutely.
And you know, we're always talking about that fear factor that they're always placing on people on purpose to get that boost that goes directly into their pocket. You're not doing any benefit for yourself by running out to the store and buying every last gallon of milk, eggs, and roll of toilet paper. You know, you are benefiting something else in the end. Look at it, and look at profits all these companies are making. You know, we're not saying that companies can't exist. We all like to have stuff. We all like our TVs. We all like that kind of stuff.
Commerce will happen.
There's no reason why ExxonMobil needs to collect $250 million in profit every single time. You know, wait a minute, that's ours.
Well, and the way that they're doing it,
ours too, technically.
Yeah, and the way that they're doing it too, the way that they use political influence to circumvent law, the same companies that are responsible for fracking, you cannot, within a court of law, within their freaking corporate court, you cannot sue them, and you cannot find out what chemicals they use for the fracking. This doesn't make any sense.
And there's no regulation on what they do with the water either.
Yeah, it's in the Ohio River. It's in the Ohio River Forest. They said that it's what was it, 6 years in a row the Ohio River was voted the most toxic in the U.S.
Either
or
6 or 8.
The Cuyahoga burn on
Yeah,
fire.
I was gonna say they won another Cuyahoga event.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny to go back what we were talking about earlier. I just thought about something. A lot of us, no taxes, but it's like, wait a minute. Have any of you guys ever heard of the Tea Party? T stands for taxed enough already. And these are very hardcore Republicans that are kind of on the same page with us for the most part when it comes to that line of thought.
Ooh, don't tell them that.
Yeah, and don't dare. No, we're different. No, you're not any different. You're not any different. Let's understand this. And I kind of find it funny because the original Boston Tea Party was one of the most liberal things that happened in this country back in the day. People thought those guys were absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, you guys just took over one of Britain's ships and you threw all the tea into it. Oh my God, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what brought us to that point of creating the colonies and us as forming the states and republics and saying, no, we don't want you.
They really did think. By the way, our friend in Oregon is smoking cannabis in your honor.
We love you, brother. Cali love, West Coast.
Sister. And
blaze one for an independent nation.
Yeah, blaze one for us, man. Definitely, we appreciate that. She's a caretaker in Oregon and just kick-ass people, and she helps. She's part of the Activist Liaison Network, a huge part, and an incredible well of information, an incredible research. She busts her ass for us on getting us information, and then we have another female here that we have the benefit of having this gracious and intelligent woman with us. That you have something very unique, actually, and I'm glad to be able to bring you into this. She was raised not allowed to watch the Smurfs. She wasn't allowed to watch Care Bears.
Anything having to do with magic.
Anything having to do with magic, and so this was a staunch religious household. And now, in your time, you've heard about sovereignty. And I want to know, somebody who comes from such a religious background, what does all of this sound like to you?
So a Protestant, Christian, Republican upbringing, sitting in a room with a bunch of sovereigns.
Yeah.
I am refreshed.
Refreshed.
I am actually refreshed. I believe wholeheartedly in what they represent. I think because I am of an analytical mind, I don't even have to question what they say because it makes absolute sense.
And you got a strong heart.
Exactly. Oh, for sure. For sure. And Miss C. Gypsy said that I do all the hard stuff with everything.
Right. No. If it wasn't for these two ladies, I wouldn't have a show. Straight up. If it wasn't for them, this doesn't exist. So,
Well, thank you.
the ladies,
Definitely.
it's, if we don't have them.
The moment I met Shane when we were down at the State House.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. There were a few people that were like, we want him, we want to know more, he's a wealth of knowledge. We want you at everything, every event, everything we do, both of you. We want you guys there because the knowledge that you're able to bring is just absolutely amazing.
Well, knowledge and also action, because knowing is one thing, but being able to actually implement it and get a result from it is a hard thing to do because you get nervous and it's all intimidating and you can actually get murdered. And it's about being fearless.
But I've seen that. Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen this firsthand with Shane, and he won't just talk to cops.
I will tell
He'll tell them how to fuck off. I mean,
in
a very lawful way. It's amazing. The dude is really, really fucking slick. And, so you come from this religious upbringing, you hear these sovereigns that were given this stigma. And do you think that you feel like you're in line with them because they speak from a moral base that also is reflected in Protestant Christianity?
Definitely. 150%. I mean, I spent 17 years in that upbringing. I was basically being trained to be a Stepford wife.
Right.
And being able to see and be a part of being liberated in that sense, that's why I say it's refreshing.
Absolutely.
There's no word to describe it. I mean, there's just not.
I can completely understand where she comes from. I was raised in a Southern Baptist naval family.
Oh yeah.
So it was
Southern Baptist.
Yeah, fire and brimstone, and make sure there's no wrinkles in that pillowcase.
Wait, hold on. Did they have snakes? Did they do the snakes?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
That shit scares me.
Southern Baptists are very strict. Absolute no sex before marriage. No children before marriage. Don't even think about sex. That's a sin. That's fire and brimstone. That is their mentality. Is very defined as to what is.
Wow.
And learning this stuff, I've known about this stuff. I grew up outside of D.C., so I got to see a lot of the history of this nation firsthand from the very beginning. Not back then, but because historic places are very en route, and you can do tours, and it will tell you the truth, and all you have to do is listen.
What's considered alternative history?
Right.
Yeah.
What I learned on the streets of Annapolis is far more removed than what they were teaching me in school.
I
like I
believe
was
that,
mentioning,
yeah.
Columbus did not discover America, first of all.
Right,
it's just one example. There's hundreds of them out there. And to get that awakening, like she's saying, you are refreshed, because you become more comfortable, not just with yourself, but with the actions that you want to do, because you are, in fact, more aware.
Yeah.
It'd be like, wow, okay, I'm not going to do that because that's not cool.
Yeah,
because I wouldn't want that to be done to me.
To me, yeah. On the 5th, when we saw Shane at the State House, he was like a light. Seriously.
Yeah.
He stuck out that way.
Yeah.
The positivity, you know what I mean? And then the lawfulness, where you were talking about, here's how we can do it by the law. We don't have to be a bunch of violent anarchists, guys. Check this out.
No. Not just that part, but also the non-judgmental aspect. And I give my brothers due process in the law, meaning they've been manipulated too. A lot of these folks have joined the military, and they've been inoculated with things, so they are chemically altered, and so not just mentally and spiritually. So I give my brother some due process. You look at him in the eyeball, his eyeball don't have a badge on it, and he simply talk logically and have a dialogue, and that's not done as much as it should be, because people want to simply be adversarial to these guys, which makes sense, but that's not the way we're going to get things done, because they want you to mess up so they can tase you or shoot you or take you into jail.
Right. Now, is it the sovereign position to hate cops? Are you a bunch of cop haters? No.
We know what they are, and we know what they're not.
So does that serve?
The purpose, it educates them, one. It also shows them that the people are articulated, and the knowledges that they have, and they can profess them and project them with couth and with respect.
And in a lawful manner.
In a lawful manner.
With respect, yeah.
And you cannot have a logical argument against what's right.
Yeah, no, you can't. That would be a logical fallacy.
Exactly right.
All right, so I want to let you guys know this real fast. I think this is awesome. MJ said, "Thank you. I enjoy the show. It regenerates my brain and the homework I do after them."
There
So
you go.
that's great, guys.
And that's
We love you.
exactly what it should be. If you think that life shouldn't be a constant self-education about what's going on around you, something's wrong.
It's
You're
a
dead.
quest.
Yeah.
You got to continue. Our brains, they're gonna do more the more you feed into it.
It's a muscle.
And a lot of people are too comfortable with not using it, and that needs to change desperately, because as long as the majority are comfortable, they're going to be happy. The government's going to, and it'll change whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's not going to be for our benefit.
Yeah. I mean, we really can make this, right? You guys bring hope, dude. You guys bring hope, man. You got to understand, dude. The ralliers, the protesters, they're pissed. They're like, dude, end the Fed, end Monsanto, end all these goddamn non-representative taxes, end all of this, but they're just filled with angst. They're pissed. The sovereigns show up and they're like, brother, I have answers. I can tell you the history. We can do this lawfully. We have peaceful means. And if anybody is telling you to better yourself, discern for yourself, educate yourself, and another entity comes along and says that is your enemy, they are a fucking liar. They're a goddamn liar. You hear these men for yourself. They're not trying to harm. How in the hell could they be terrorists? And it breaks the hearts of the American people that have to listen to a corrupt ruling class calling folks like this terrorists, dude. It's more than disrespectful, and it's getting to a point now where every chance I get to burn their asses with honesty and truth. That is exactly what I am here for. I will have sovereigns on my show every goddamn day that I can, so that we can get this word out to everybody, so they understand these aren't your enemies at all. These are your countrymen and women that are fighting like hell and having to show incredible bravery to do it. Because think about it. Think about the juggernaut they're going up against. The United States government gives no fucks. They killed Lincoln. They killed Kennedy. They, you know what I mean? They don't give a shit. They'll kill all of us. And these dudes are still fucking standing here. They're still telling you.
I would like to mention that you can see it in the eyes of government officials, quasi-governing officials, whether it be a